Bret won that by a
Mine was shitty.
landslide.
Well, Bret fucking works out all right.
Yeah, Bret's on gear.
Gear.
On
He
that
publicly
junk.
admitted it.
Yeah, so he should be able to clap the hardest.
That was
Clap them chicks.
That was like Grantham recently. People, once he got out of the military, just immediately got on gear, and people are talking about it. And there's a clip that they just went in this comment section. People were like, "Stop! Like, you're all saying that he's on steroids. Like, he's probably not. He probably just has good genetics and like works out a lot." Like, was defending him, and he commented, was like, "I'm on steroids." Like, it was like,
on steroids. Oh man, he just turned that life around. I'm gonna.
yeah, he joined the God Squad and started taking juice.
God Squad, get all tatted up.
Yeah,
Get on that juice.
good for him.
Yeah.
Living in Idaho.
You know what? So we'll just ignore our friend and guest for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I like Mike, old Grand Thumb.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool.
Has he come on this before?
No,
You should.
He said he would, but he just like never travels.
doesn't travel.
We'll bring it to him.
Well, if he wants to see a boom box, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So I watched his video the other day on something.
6 arc.
I don't know. I don't remember. It could have been a SIG thing.
Oh,
It might have been 8.6. And I'm very grateful for all of his videos. I almost resigned my position as chairman of the board of this company to voluntarily go do technical support for Grand Thumb videos.
yeah, sometimes it's painful.
I was like, my man, come on. How do you shoot like that and not know nothing about guns?
A lot of those dudes, though, like he was a special operator, if you want to say that, in the United States Air Force. But a lot of those dudes, they carry guns, they can use them, but they don't really know anything about them.
Anyway, yeah. So Bret Vorhees, little
Hello.
buddy. Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, man. How you been?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm self-conscious if this mic is properly positioned. Am I good? All right.
You're good. I'm still all fucked up us moving here. I'm used to being in my game room over at my house.
No one said we had to come here, but you. We
We
could still
should-
be at your house.
We should bring your throne back, though.
Throne? What's that?
Your chair. At the
Oh,
house.
the chair with my brown bear coat over it.
Yeah.
That's nice. So what you been doing? Besides steroids.
Yeah.
No steroids. Working out, running a company, hanging out with the family, a little bit of hunting, running the company. Yeah, that's pretty much been it. It's a lot of work this time of year.
Why are you getting all racing snake looking? Why are you getting all fit as shit? What's going on?
So this process started like a year and a half ago. Just part of it's a lifestyle change, really. But the motivation behind it was got signed up for a Dall sheep hunt up in Northwest Territories, and it's one of those things like which we could talk about, but you start going down the rabbit hole of all the gear and everything else. But probably the most important thing is being physically ready, and so I just figured I would put the work in and focus on it and make sure that's not going to be an issue when I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you and I were watching some videos. Ooh, yeah. Good call getting fit. You know what I should do? You know what would have been a good call, James? Because, James, you're a fit young man. You could go on that hunt. You'd survive it.
I think so.
I wish I would have bought one of those for Jay.
A mountain?
A Dall sheep to go with Bret and James to video.
If I knew you put money down on it, I'd get on gear and
We'll give you like 3 weeks notice.
I think we should do it.
Yeah.
There would be some air rescue involved.
no. Yeah, probably. No, I'd figure it out. I'd get in fighting shape for sure.
You'd figure it out. You learned a smoke signal.
Yeah, they're gonna start fires with sticks.
That would make some great content right there.
Dude,
fucking Kevin's a fucking douchebag.
you certainly can
Trying
if you
to kill
desire.
me.
You certainly can if you desire.
Oh, that'd be great.
So you're going to do that?
Yeah. That's 3 weeks out. A little less than 3 weeks, actually.
Is that with the new product from you guys?
It is. Yeah. I'm taking our Expedition bolt action rifle.
Oh, that's the name of y'all's rifle?
Expedition rifle. Yeah.
That's a great name.
It is a good name.
I think Jason Vincent gets the credit for that.
Never heard of him.
I would believe that.
He's a creative guy. So
He
yeah.
is. You wouldn't think it because, he just seems like a dumb biker, but he's really creative and smart.
He is. Yeah. So I'm taking that rifle. Kind of modified. Part of the design of that gun is, that you can customize it if you want to put it in a different stock, change the barrel. It's easy to change things out to adapt it. And
it's easy to change the barrel on y'all's gun?
Yeah.
Is it a 700 pattern?
Yes. So the action threads, the trigger, the stock, the scope mount bases are all Remington 700 compatible. The actual action is not exactly. It's a 3-lug design on the bolt with the side bolt release.
So a 60-degree throw.
60-degree throw.
Oh, that is so much better than 90. You don't have to worry about hitting your scope.
And then just through our testing, we learned a lot about the extraction and ejection. So put dual ejectors on there with the M16 style extractor.
Nice.
So a little bit more robust extraction and all of that. So I did rebarrel it. It's an 18-inch 6.5 barrel it's a Bartling carbon fiber barrel. So took a little bit of weight off of it that way. And I'm still kind of toying with the stock and chassis design and what I want to do. There's a few options, but I think I want a folding stock. So I probably won't take our stock, which is a shame because that's that's probably one of the most thought out parts of the gun that we designed was our stock with all the features with the Spartan Precision adapter molded in, the M-LOK plate. We contoured the fore end of the stock so it fits square in like a bog death grip type tripod. So we put a lot of thought in that stock, but I'm probably going to do something a little different, like a side chick or something that folds. Just so when it's strapped to the side of the pack, it's not sticking up.
Okay, because I was going to ask you why you weren't doing it. But yeah, so you and I hunt a lot together and stuff. And the more hunts we go on, like I've never been on a sheep hunt. But I just went on a very difficult hunt that was a whole different set of issues to deal with. But where I wasn't allowed to take anything that was military looking, so in Cameroon, you have to just have a traditional gun. So I had a Winchester Model 70 and 375. So long barrel, a fixed stock, and I'm in the jungle for 2 weeks, and it was horrible as far as handling the gun in those conditions. So I get it. It's like the folding stock makes all the difference if you can do it right.
Yeah, and I don't think there's not going to be a lot of opportunity to be in like brush where this thing sticking up above my head is going to be a problem. But I think just keeping kind of a small, compact profile makes sense. You spend all this time figuring out what gear you're bringing, how much it all weighs, and then, you're trying to get the pack to be as small as possible so it's not just big and cumbersome.
Yeah.
Makes sense that the gun kind of fits that mold too, to me.
Well, so you guys have released this gun already?
We have, yeah. We've been shipping the 308 and the 6.5 Creedmoor for a couple months now.
Okay. So does it take AI pattern mags?
Yes.
Jeez. Okay. Well, how much does this gun retail for?
Street price $750 to $799.
That's pretty good, especially since you're making your own barrels and stuff too. Because I mean, the competition, I guess that you would say is, well, not even because you're a price point above them. I would think.
Price point.
Yeah, there's not really any in your price point. I don't.
Yeah, so like in that price point, there's really good rifles. I mean, there's some Tika rifles, there's some Bergaras. Like, there's good rifles in there.
Tika's good.
So we intentionally went into that price point knowing we were going to put together a good rifle, but the features that we incorporated in it, you can't find anywhere else.
No, the Tika for that price, and I love Tika rifles for a production gun.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one or used one better yet. I haven't used yours, but yeah, you get 60-degree throw, the detachable mag, but it is a shitty plastic stock that comes on it for that price.
I was going to say, I feel like all the Tikas that I've seen, guys buy them at that price and then put them in something else.
Yeah, you have to buy a stock or a chassis.
Yeah.
But the gun's great, but then, you buy a real stock or a chassis, you're going to spend $500 to $1,500.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of every gun in that price point is kind of the stock or whatever you want to call it is generally throwaway. I mean, I remember the old Remington 700 SDs, the tactical SDs. That was like one of my first real 308 bolt actions that I shot a lot. But that's the Hogue stock that came on that thing. Like, the fore end of that would flex if you even set it on a bipod. Like, you couldn't load a bipod up without that thing touching the barrel. And so, you know, that's the first thing you do is get rid of that and get something stiffer at least.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about how, like, it's just thinking about that, the stock touching the barrel. Didn't the old Ruger number ones, wasn't there an adjustable screw that actually, like, that's how you would adjust, like you would press on the barrel? I think it was the old Ruger number ones that there was a screw to actually touch your barrel to put pressure on the barrel.
So you could adjust the tension?
Yeah, which is super weird.
It seems like something would have been done in the 70s.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just weird because, I mean, now obviously we want to float everything.
Yeah. But you saying this also, you can swap barrels on it.
Yeah, so it's just a barrel nut design. So
Is it like a Savage?
Yeah, similar to a Savage.
Good
but,
design.
you know, the actual, action threads are Remington 700 compatible. So it's not, you know, you don't take a Savage barrel or aftermarket barrel. It would have to be something else. But I think Rimage barrel is generally what they call that. Yeah. So, yeah, you can swap that out real easily. I went with I sent my gun to a gunsmith and had him shoulder a barrel and do it properly. And just because it's my personal gun and I can, but it's easy to swap out. I also have a 16-inch 8.6 with a carbon barrel from Mostec that they made me for the gun. And
awesome.
I did that one in my garage. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I guess you don't really have barrels available yet, or
right. I mean, it's still fairly new, but it's, you know, it's fairly easy to find a barrel that works for it.
What trigger do you prefer for the 700s? Like if you swap a trigger, go with an aftermarket trigger, what do you like?
Generally a Trigger Tech or a Timney. I've been really impressed with Trigger Tech. They're really good. I've used a lot of Timneys. They got they each have different series of them. But you know, like in our gun, if you're going to swap that trigger out, our trigger's great. You can adjust it down. So if you feel like you want to lighten it up or whatever, you can adjust it. It's really simple to do. But if you do want to swap it out, that's also, you know, 2 pins, swap it out, put the pins back in, and it works perfect. But you make sure you get the model that does not have the bottom bolt release that's typically for Remington 700s because our bolt release is on the side. So they make models both ways.
Oh,
okay, I didn't know that.
I remember you telling me that the side bolt release too, yeah.
Yeah, and then
I've only ever heard of those two companies, like Trigger Tech and Timney, for a Remington.
Yeah, I mean they're the top ones for sure.
Jewel was the one 15, 20 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot more out. I mean,
I'm
Trigger
sure,
Tech wasn't a thing then.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, the other part of our gun is it's all stainless steel construction, action, all the metal components, basically, firing pin, everything. Which, you know, on a lot of guns in that price point, the firing pin is probably where they would skimp on material. They'd usually go with a really soft or inferior type of steel. Ours is stainless steel, and then everything is DLC coated. So, everything. Yeah. So you have great abrasion resistance, corrosion resistance, beautiful appearance. Like it's really nice.
It's nice to do those Taurus volumes.
Do you know
because that gun from Q is $4,000?
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, do you know what the general weight is on it?
Yeah, so out of the box, our gun is 7 pounds, 7.2 pounds. The 6.5 Creedmoor is a 20-inch barrel, and the 308 is an 18-inch barrel, so it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
We went with a specific barrel profile that I call it like a semi-weight, but it's generally like it's not meant to be a mountain rifle. It's meant to be short and compact. It's not really meant to be a 5-pound gun.
Yeah.
Just because I think when people get into real pencil thin barrels, like the Kimber mountain rifles or whatever, those guns don't shoot worth shit. For 5-shot groups, good luck.
Oh yeah, you're not going to.
It's like made to be a cold bore gun, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which for hunting application, fine, but but
that's all you're going to use it for.
Yeah, I prefer to shoot my guns like my fix. I hunt with that, but I also shoot it quite a bit just for my own enjoyment. So. Load development, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I went on the site this morning to see if there was anything on there that I was unfamiliar with.
Shoot, that Judge Executive.
Yeah, that one's sweet. They got some single action revolvers that look pretty cool. I feel like that was newer.
They make everything now.
I know.
Like I was so excited when you told me a minute ago you guys are making 45-70 caliber guns that are threaded.
Yeah. The R95 Rossi's have been a big hit. So.
Because those are Winchester patterns, aren't they?
That one is a Marlin pouch.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, it's a side eject, compatible with all aftermarket accessories and everything. So if you want to put we have models that have Picatinny rails, but if you want to put one on there, like a Skinner side or Skinner rail, it's all available. And those are just as accurate as our bolt actions. They're all hammer forged barrels. The Rossi 357. My first time ever shooting one of those guns, like I've shot Marlins and Henrys and Winchesters for a long time, but my first time ever shooting a Rossi lever gun, I shot 3 prairie dogs at 200 yards with iron sights with a 357. Those guns are dead accurate.
Yeah.
So we were in Argentina on a hunt, all of us narwhals, and I dominated the long range hunting the entire trip. Last day, Bret's 2-3 beers deep. He's like, yeah, so I'll shoot one farther than you. Took my gun and in 2 minutes shot and won the competition and with my own gun.
It just means you can have a comeback.
And I bet Ron Dan hadn't even paid you the $100 he owes you.
I think you're the only one that did pay me.
Terrible group of friends.
Well, it's a gang. What do you
That's
expect?
true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested in checking those. I haven't even looked at the Rossies. I'm interested because Henry's real big right now, but people don't realize it's not the same Henry, and also they're just kind of whack. Like I felt them. They don't feel good.
The receivers sort of seem like pot metal or something.
Yeah.
Like I like the old Winchesters. I like the Marlins. I don't know. Like Amy shot or was bear hunting a couple years ago with one of those Rossies. It was a stainless one in 357 Magnum, and I hadn't seen one in probably 20 years. I don't really go to gun stores and stuff a ton, but when she brought that in, I was like, when did Winchester start doing a stainless gun? And I'll pick it up, look at it, because I don't remember what she did. She brought it up here for, I don't know, I think Nick maybe mounted a scope on it or something. But that gun was so nice. And Rossi, when I was young, was not like that.
Right.
And that gun was badass.
I remember you sent me a picture of that when you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, for around here, that's a sick gun.
That's a great gun.
I mean, like an 8-inch 8.6 or 12-inch 8.6, also great, but like for a brush gun, and I assume the price point on them is pretty good.
Yeah.
For a Northeast, that's an awesome gun.
Yeah, 16-inch 357. How many rounds does that hold? Like 10?
16 inches, 8.
8?
Pretty close.
That's almost 10. Like having two-wheel guns, my man.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, that's a cool gun.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You think about the evolution of guns and stuff, and what an awesome gun that must have been when it came out. Yeah. They're so compact and lightweight, and they hold a bunch of rounds. You can shoot them fast.
I mean, it was an assault rifle back then. It was a carbine.
So cool. Yeah. I can't believe all the stuff that you guys do at Taurus.
Yeah, I mean, we stay busy. That's for sure. There's between the 3 different companies.
Who is it? Rossi, Taurus, and what's it?
Heritage.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So we're obviously Taurus is very much focused on self-defense pistols, revolvers. Got into the hunting a little bit with the Raging Hunter, and now the bolt action. Globally, we're making M4s and AR-10s and different things for sub machine 9mm, stuff like that for people all over the world. We have 2 factories in Brazil, the one in Georgia, and now we have a factory in India. So just cranking out
to build the AR stuff.
Yeah, ARs and some duty pistol type stuff.
That's all. There. Is that just for India?
Just for India. Yeah.
Military.
Yeah. So a lot going on, man.
It's a big operation.
Yeah.
It's a big company.
I don't know that I can do your job. I'll just stay here.
We got a lot of people too, so it's all right.
Oh, managing people's easy. I'm great at that.
Yeah.
It's actually this is the only hard thing. The rest of it's all those people. I don't want your problems or 6 problems when it comes to people. That's a lot. Lots of people. Jesus. Yeah. So, did you ever hear about Bret's first buffalo hunt?
No, I only know what gun he used, but other than that,
what was it? What did he use?
I think he used a 460 Raging Hunter, 10.5 inch. Was that your first buffalo?
Yeah.
See, check me out.
Yeah, an impressive distance. He can shoot far.
I heard.
Yeah. What about, so that was your first buffalo. So we were in Africa and Bret wants to shoot his first buffalo. Fuck it. Do it with a wheel gun.
I'll do a revolver, yeah.
The craziest part about all of that is
That Rad almost cried.
well, like 10 minutes before we actually shot the buffalo, like I was calling it quits.
Oh, really? You guys were after it for a while.
We were after it for a while, but like, you know, this is like day 3 of buffalo hunting, so it wasn't like, you know, but I wanted to hunt kudu. I wanted to do other things. And like every night everyone's like, "Did you get a buffalo?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, I shot this and this and this." I'm like, "Fuck." So I just wanted to go like kill stuff with my friends, you know? And so like, and at that point, like the buffalo had run over the hill. We thought he was gone. And we were walking down to the truck and I was getting ready to tell Rad, like, "Hey."
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were packing it in for the night. And because it was probably like an hour before it was going to be dark. And I was getting ready to tell Rad, "Hey, man, like, let's go hunt kudu tomorrow and whatever." And then all of a sudden, like, Rad stopped. And I think he was on the radio with the tracker who said we were right on top of the buffalo. We didn't know it had come back.
Oh, that's right. Because I was thinking... Well, I was probably drinking when you told me the story when it happened, but
No.
For sure.
I was thinking that you guys were on the opposite hill and spotted it and went down and made a plan and made a stalk and just came out a little lower. It came up and you ended up on top of it when you thought you were like 30 yards from it. So no, it was the tracker radioed you and told you.
Yeah. So what actually we bumped
radios.
it. We bumped it twice before. Mm-hmm. So what you said happened. We went across the valley and we were coming up the hill. And it was 30 yards above us, and thankfully ran uphill because if it came downhill, there was nowhere for us.
Yeah, you guys
to
got
go.
lucky there.
And then the second time we kind of tried to go backtrack around it and try to get up on top of it, and we ended up level with it at 10 yards, and it ran again, and that's when we thought it was gone because we watched it go around the corner and over the hill. And then so we were getting ready to head back to the truck, or we were actually walking downhill. And I think the tracker even said, "Hey, the buffalo's coming back," or whatever. So we went uphill, and which was a good call. And you know, we probably went 30 yards uphill, and then we started working our way towards where we thought it was. And we're just standing there, like, where did it go? And some fallow deer were making a ton of noise, and I think I stepped on a twig, and Rad shot me one of his famous looks, you know. And,
I've seen one of those.
And then that's when the tracker said, "Hey, you guys are right on top of the buffalo." And we're looking around. We're like,
it is amazing. So to
where?
Interrupt you again, it's like when because I know where you guys were, and you're on this hill, and you look over there, and you're like, "Oh, there's some small little bushes, but it's just all grass."
Yeah.
And then you get over there, and the bushes are 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it's thick, and you can't see.
And the hill's like this. I mean, it's steep.
Yeah. And so but it's interesting because I've done some of this before, spotting for people doing some hunts like that. And when you're on the opposite mountain, you're looking 1,000 yards through the spotting scope. It's like, it's right there. You can't see it,
right.
and you can be 10 yards away, and you can't see anything.
If you're below it, you might be able to see it, obviously.
No, never. You can't. I mean, it's like, because I know where they were, because Terry Hewen and I hunted a buffalo on like the mountain just sort of behind that, and it's the same situation. But yeah, so he tells you right on top of it. What happens?
We were just standing there, and I remember looking at Rad, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Where?" Like that loud. And we're like just looking around, and there's a bush. Like, let's say this table is a bush. It's right in front of us. And I think Rad was standing 3 feet to my left or 4 feet to my left, and he just saw the head move. It was sitting like in front of the bush right in front of us. And he saw the head move, but I think the horn was probably blocking its vision back, his peripheral. And I think he just kind of like jumped a little bit and was like just pointed. And from then I saw the back of its head, and I could see like the only shot I had was about a 16-inch cut in the bush, and it was like high shoulder angling down, which is like
perfect
where I want to shoot it. And I guess like, you know, you would know, but their spine kind of dips right in there.
Yeah, the spine right where you think it goes up, and that hump dips down.
Right. So I'm sitting there with my gun, and I had a tripod that I'd been carrying around like an idiot. And I'm like, and there was like this little skinny bush over here, and I set the tripod down on it, just like praying that it doesn't fall over.
This is once you've seen him.
Yeah.
Because he's how far from you?
4 yards. but it's looking away.
That is so lucky. That's so scary.
Oh yeah. And yeah, so I put the tripod down, I pull up and shoot it, and it drops, and then it tries to stand up, and I shoot it again, and from then it just starts tumbling down the hill. And then I just kept shooting it, and I had 4 hits, and then the 5th hit was in the horn while it was tumbling. But at that point, I was just pulling the trigger at it,
I love that on several of my buffalo videos. It'll be like the one that James, you did that's so good, that in the water, and it's like, I don't know, how far was that? 25, 30 yards?
30 yards is close.
You shoot it, and then it's in slow-mo, and it's like the footage is so good and the water and everything, and it's facing me. I shoot it in the chest, and it turns, and I shoot it and hit it in the back hip. And everybody's like, "Oh, you shot it in the ass," and it's like, or you just need one shot if you know how to shoot. And then it's like, and so, why'd you shoot it in the ass? Like, what a terrible shot. But it's like in real life that happens like that, and that is like, I can shoot. Okay, like we're talking 30 yards in a buffalo. It's not my first day, and it's like, well, you're watching it in slow motion, asshole. Yeah. Like I was lucky to get, and you put another round in it because a buffalo, until it's down.
Right, you keep shooting it.
Yeah, because they're so tough. Like they will eat 416 or 458 lot and be gone.
Even an animal that's not super dangerous like a buffalo, over there, you can shoot it and you might not find it if you let it run too far.
I mean, a buffalo could go, 2 weeks and 20 miles. Like,
and that's when they're dangerous too. When they're, when they're wounded, that's when people run into trouble.
So you give it the, shoot it in the horn when you already got it down. But it just kept, that's a steep mountain you're on.
Yeah, it just kept rolling downhill. And I just remember seeing, like, every time I'd see legs go up, I would try to time the shot,
I'll play that clip.
Oh, yeah. That's so, and Rad going, oh.
Yeah.
After it was over.
He walked past it, right? He walked past it, right?
Yeah, he was like up by the head. Out, he was in a not good place. And he didn't have time to get his gun or anything.
Well, and 2, Rad had never shot one with that gun. You never shot a buffalo, and your first one, you got a handgun 460. It's like, well, it should work.
Yeah,
especially that distance.
Should.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal, and it's not something that wants to kill you.
Yeah. So that was and then afterwards, after kind of the heavy breathing and hugging and all that, Rad's like, I don't even know if that's the same buffalo. He's like, we're shooting it either way. We weren't going to be able to back out of that situation.
Yeah, and at 4 yards, and man. So, what'd you think? Did you like using the handgun?
I did. Yeah, actually, I really did like it.
You used an aim point?
Yeah, there's a red dot, and I do remember when I pulled that gun up, the dot was just there, perfect. I didn't struggle to find it or whatever. All that worked perfect.
It's so awesome.
I got one. I got to kill something with it. Not the same one he has. I have a little shorter barrel, but
you have one.
Yeah,
a 460.
I have an 8-inch. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Now I got to shoot something with a handgun.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
Good.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, yeah. So you loved it.
Yeah. It was. I really loved buffalo hunting though. I'm set on doing more of that. I would absolutely do it with a pistol again. Now that I kind of know what to expect and how it could happen, but I would like to go hunt it with a lever gun and bolt action too.
Yeah, I mean that 45-70, that would be awesome. Yeah. I mean, 45-70 killed a lot of buffalo on this continent.
Yeah, no doubt. And I know a lot of people have done it in Africa too.
And that, I mean, for a gun, for a dangerous game rifle like a lever gun and 45-70, that's a great one for the bush. It really is. Yeah. Fast and compact, lightweight.
Yeah. Yeah, they're handy rifles. I mean,
you need to get some, I don't know what the names of all those sights. You need some express sights with I don't know, my eyes are such shit now because in Cameroon, everything was 5 yards. And so it's ridiculous to have an optic on the gun, really. I mean, you could do a dot, but what I wanted was just a big old white or fluorescent front sight and a big V in the back where I could shoot fast.
A lot of them have those. They got peep sights on them, or I know guys up north.
Peep sight would be fine.
The guys up north that run those, the trackers up north, they run a tracker sight on them or Skinner sight too.
Skinner sights are great.
Or what is that?
It's another variant. It's another peep, but it's kind of like a ghost ring where the peep is big on the back.
Yeah, I think that I haven't done tons of that, but I've done, I don't know now, 12 or 13 buffalo, and there's the bush like where we hunt in South Africa, but then Cameroon in the rainforest, that's different, but just as thick and challenging. And that ghost ring sight, like on the shotguns, makes a lot of sense
with a big bright front.
Yeah, when you're gonna shoot 3 to 20 yards max, and it's big animals, you put the front sight on and
well, and like
trigger.
the Skinner sights, they have like a peep sight in the rear, and they have like an aperture. You can change the aperture.
I have some of those.
You can take it out completely and open it up.
And it's like a ghost ring, or you have a smaller.
Or you can put a smaller one.
That's
you can change it depending on what you want.
I didn't know
they're
the name
really
of it.
nice.
I have a couple of those.
Yeah, and then
That's
I
on
have
my
an
Hemingway
aim.
rifle.
I have an aim point on. I have an aim point on my 4570.
That's what I would put on mine. Yeah.
It was great. I took that on a moose hunt last year, and it was super thick brush. It was the perfect rifle for that. I didn't get to shoot a moose.
You didn't?
No.
It's 4570?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It would have been perfect, though.
That's pretty cool.
The dot on a gun is, I mean, you've been doing it for a while. Obviously, you just said you've been doing it too. But like I told Bret, but I was talking to Brian Lasanke, from Aimpoint, and he showed me some pictures of he just did a filmed hunt, but he just showed me pictures. He's like, don't send him anywhere. But he shot I think a sable and a Cape buffalo with he's got a blazer, and then he's been putting dots on those, and he's straight pull, so super slick, fast, bring it up. His was 375, but obviously you can do whatever caliber on that. Mm-hmm. It's smart.
I mean, most people would. Optics have gotten really good the last 20 years, but most people would be really surprised if they practice somehow well and how far they could shoot with just a red dot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I'm comfortable at 200 yards with the rifle. No, if you know the ballistics and
and a reasonably sized animal. I mean, I like it. And I love for buffalo hunting, and it kind of depends on where we are. Sometimes I use like a low power variable. But most of the time, I'll do an aim point micro or something, and I mount it forward,
It's faster.
as far forward on the gun as I can. It's faster. You're not trying to close one eye or look through something. It's just you point the gun, it's right there.
Yep.
Old Jeff Cooper, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, the cool thing about speaking of LPVOs, but the EOTech ones, the Voodoos, is when you do crank it down and you illuminate it, it's that same reticle you're used to in like an EXPS, that kind of donut of death or whatever. So
circle with a dot, and that's great for buffalo or movers. I agree with that. That 1 to 10 from Voodoo is an awesome scope. The turret's good. It's just my eyes, and I say it all the time. They're so bad now that I need every just little bit of glass improvement I can get. It wasn't that way even when I was 40. Like average glass, but the rest of the feature set, turret and all, dot, it would be more important to me. But now it's like I just can't see very well. But it's so cool when you're low power, circle with a dot, and then you have a ballistic reticle when you dial
because
up.
normally it's just a dot. Like even if it's illuminated, they only illuminate the center. So it's cool to have the whole, like you said. Because I mean, even that, like a lot of us shoot enough that even with an EOTech, I mean, you just use your hash marks as your hold. So, I mean, it's nothing to shoot up to 300 or so, whatever.
You can do that. But, I mean, it makes sense to circle with a dot being fast, and especially with movers. But, with an aim point, I'm not swimming in there looking for it. But, I want to put the dot right where I want to go. And what I find with the EOTech is I don't look at the dot as much as the circle, putting it around that, and that is faster.
Yeah.
It is faster when you're shooting stuff that might run or is close, and you need to make follow-up shots. Like a buffalo, 99% of the time you got to make a follow-up shot.
Yeah.
So having that ability, I think, is good. I've used the EOTech some as well.
The weight's good on that one too. Like I just used that Vortex 1 to 10, and it's
nice.
It's nice. The like the light transmission was good. I mean, it's solid.
You got them young eyes.
Yeah, but it's heavy. That optic is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's not as heavy. I don't think. Is it as heavy as the Vortex at 1 to 10?
That's what I'm talking about.
The Vortex.
I'm saying I just use, so the Voodoo's good, but I just use the Vortex. Yeah,
the Vortex is nice, but it's heavy, and the top. I don't think it has a zero stop. And
it's got covers on it.
Yeah, and the top turret, it sucks. Like the clicks suck, and it's covered. I don't like that.
The one thing that was weird, I'm so used to having a parallax adjustment that I mean I'm adjusting that whatever the name of it is. I forget on your Diopter.
Diopter adjustment.
Check me out. I was adjusting that, and yeah, that works enough, but it still wasn't. I couldn't get it perfect for just me, and that kind of bummed me out because I'm so used to having a parallax adjustment. But
your eyes are probably going to shit.
I've worn glasses since I was in 3rd grade.
See,
yeah,
Benjamin Button reverse.
Exactly.
You got going there.
Exactly. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, it was a little heavy, but I had a 5-pound gun, so whatever.
Well, I really love those 22s you sent me.
Yeah.
Have you shot those?
The TX, yeah, super good.
Like
Sick trigger.
shockingly good trigger. Was that a 16 round mag?
16, yeah. I need to send you our newest kind of Gen 2 of the TX. So we've had 3 different versions. The original TX was just kind of like a standard duty size 4-inch barrel with, let's say a P30 size grip. It's very similar. And that's a 16-inch gun or a 16 round magazine.
That's
gun.
the first one you sent.
That's the first one I sent you was the competition model.
Oh yeah.
So that's the second one we came out with, which is the Optic mounted on top of the barrel hood.
Yeah, I have a Trigicon, whatever RMR on there. Love it.
Then we came out with the compact version, which I think I also sent you that.
Mm-hmm. Love that one.
So we learned a lot in the compact version that was interesting that we wanted to apply to the very first gen that we did. So we came out the Gen 2 of the regular TX, made it optic ready on the slide, and it runs phenomenally. But we also we made a couple of other changes. So with that, we came out the 22 round magazine, which if you have the patience to load all of that, great. But really, the improvements on it, we came out the bull barrel similar to what's on the competition model, where you don't have this pencil thin barrel with an adapter for the half 28 threads.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot better. And then we started making, when we moved to Bainbridge, we started outsourcing the barrels and things while we were moving. We transitioned all that back in house. So like the quality of the barrels are way better, and just generally the gun is much better quality.
Those guns are cool. I never would have believed 20 years ago you could do 16 or 22 round mags that were reliable, or that you could have a 22 striker fire gun with a trigger like that.
Yeah.
I think it has gotten that gun specifically, the TX22, probably the competition model specifically, but I think it's gotten the younger crowd as excited about shooting 22 as kind of the older crowd, like the old guard of guns. I think everyone loves to shoot 22.
Yeah.
And I think for younger dudes, they want something with more, it's more exciting to shoot a bigger caliber. But I think get that gun specifically because it's so good. I know a lot of young dudes that are super into that gun, and that's all they want to shoot.
Yeah. Well, it's been a big hit for us.
Well, that's wonderful, because you're right, Jay. Like all y'all youngins, like nobody likes most guys that get into guns that want to post on Instagram. They don't like 20. They don't know or understand how incredible a 22 is and how fun it is.
Yeah,
a good 22 with a silencer, it's hard to beat it for fun. Everybody should have one, a pistol and a rifle. It's interesting. Ruger's made all those for so long and made some great guns in 22. They have never made a factory gun in 22 with a trigger that's worth the shit.
No,
unless I don't know, maybe that All American or whatever has one. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But they're Mark IIs. I mean, I've had so many of them, loved them, built integrals. You have to change the trigger in them when you get them. In the 1022, what dog shit is that trigger? How hard is it to put a reasonable trigger in the gun? So that was something I was excited, because the only 22s I've ever had with good triggers from the factory are if you buy like a Hammerly or something.
Yeah.
Everything in America, I mean, even the buck marks, like all the American, decent 22 pistols have always had shit triggers.
Yeah. And, like the TX is, like the Hammerly pistols and some of the high-end Walther 22s and stuff, like you're getting into a totally different level of pistol. And
$2,500 22 pistol. Yeah.
The Hammerleys are fun and they're more affordable. Like you could just go out and plink with them. They're really fun. But like the TX was really intended to be, a sub $300 retail gun, and that's what they are.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like our standard TX, you can go buy it every day for $279.
I was gonna say
No way.
260 something, 270 something. Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving them to me, but I had no idea. I thought they must have been like in my mind. So it's Taurus. It's going to be budget conscious. I thought $595 3 mags. That's what I would have guessed if you told me I had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Which that's why it's so cool because like you can't go buy a 2245 right now for under $400.
Yeah, I saw like a Mark IV or whatever the other day, and it shocked me how expensive it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, but it seems like it was like $600 to $700 or something.
Could be, yeah.
And I was just like, well, geez, we might as well just go buy Hammerleys and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's that gun's cool too because it's more of a trainer.
Yeah,
you know, like I love, you know, but the Ruger, you know, Mark whatever series. I mean, I think those were just modeled after like the Luger pistol to look cool.
Right, and then the 2245 was supposed to emulate closer 1911 grip.
Yeah, but all the ergonomics and stuff are all they're all wonky. It's I mean,
They don't
it's
function the same. But
yeah, it's fine, but it's not like a trainer or anything.
Right.
Where that's what that TX is just like. That's pretty much like a small 9mm striker fired gun, but you can shoot it for, you know, a few cents a round. That's cool.
Yeah, meant to operate the same. The trigger feels similar, or it's better than most actually. But yeah, it feels similar. It's striker fired.
Is there a Magnum version for 22 mag? Or is that?
Not yet.
Oh, you red things always asking about 22.
My bad.
Yeah, I mean, like there is, but
Right,
it's
I
not
got you.
out.
I got
Like,
you.
I've shot it quite a bit.
Yeah.
and,
I love 22 Magnum.
there's
All poachers do.
there's more to that project than
Yeah.
just the 22 Magnum, so that's why it's not out yet.
Okay,
but yeah,
cool.
the 22 Magnum runs phenomenally.
Awesome. That's such a
That's not an easy thing to make those like
No.
semi-auto 22 mags work.
No, and you know, like we were talking a lot about the level of testing that goes into bringing a gun to market and some of that. It's funny how much slower the testing goes when you have to sweep the range every 300 rounds because there's so much unburnt powder down the range.
Oh, I didn't think about
So
that.
it's totally different with like a 22 mag or some of these other cartridges than what we're used to.
Yeah, see, I didn't think about that, but we do all of our, well, I don't know. You didn't even see the range today.
No.
But our range, when we do any endurance testing, or like we're just doing a bunch of full auto endurance testing on the boom box and a special honey badger variant that we just sold to a European military, we just do all the endurance stuff outside.
Yeah.
You know, and harder times in the winter. But right now,
The current setup is so good.
so good.
Like with the roof and there's a vise on a table and the shipping container.
So fancy.
Like I hadn't seen inside the shipping container. We went with when Ron Spelmer was.
Oh, it's
up.
a workshop.
Yeah, it's got power and refrigerators and drill press. I'm like, this is an entire
Yeah,
factory.
and there's like remote secret area
Yeah.
where you can't run power to or anything. We got the engineers, man. They're like, hey, we need a 500-yard range. It's
And
like
they're just stealing power from the neighbors, or
absolutely, they're resourceful.
Yeah.
But man, when I put Nick in charge of it, and I'm like, it's yours. Hey, you
You
guys
know,
want
he
outdoor
seeded,
range?
He put grass out there.
Yeah.
because he was bored.
Well.
Or he said he had extra seed or something.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
grass will be nice, and too, we put clover out there because you know it's funny. You know, there's not a ton of deer around here and all, and I've got a little herd of deer on there, and we all hunt, but it's like it's so exciting because in the South, you know, because well, you live where I'm from, and there are deer everywhere. And up here, like you do not see a lot of deer. So it's like so exciting.
Yeah.
So it's like nobody shoots a deer here. We have a herd. So like let's plant clover, do all the things, feed them down there. And so they'll come out on the range when we're testing and everybody will just
so
stop
quiet,
and look at them.
Yeah, Ron was shooting a little content thing when we were here, and he's shooting at Nick's in the spotting scope. And I was looking down there, I'm like, something's moving by the target that he's shooting. I'm like, and Nick was like, stop. He's like, there's a deer behind the target. Like, do not shoot. And so we looked at it, but it's so quiet that they don't care. They just wander out.
Yeah, it was right before I went to Africa with them. I was out there. I was getting dope and everything on my 6 Creedmoor I had, and we had a deer come out there, and it was meandering and eat. You know, so it's like 10 minutes we can't really shoot, and I'm like, you know, it's like we were just shooting 4 of us.
Yeah.
And it comes out on the range, and you're like, and we're shooting still, so it's loud.
Right.
So after about 10 minutes, you know, we're starting to lose light. I'm like, I want to shoot.
Yeah.
And so it gets like kind of in front of a target's behind it and up in the air. It's probably 20 yards from the target. And I'm like, I'll get it off the range. I'm going to shoot that target. Ding! Shoot that target, you know, with a 6 Creedmoor. going about 8,000 feet a second. It was loud as hell. That deer didn't even pick its head up.
Oh yeah.
It's like they're getting so used to it.
Yeah.
As long as you shoot next to and target next to them, they won't even move. It's
crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, sweeping the range up, doing the testing.
It's like, why is it taking so long to do it? A 10,000 round test. Like, well, we have to stop and sweep all the unburnt powder up every 300 rounds.
Well, it's good that you're doing
water
it.
or something.
It's very dangerous.
Sig learned that
very
lesson
dangerous.
real quick.
Yeah, very
That was
dangerous.
a bad one.
Yeah, especially if depending on how the deal is. Like I know, I've seen a range too where there's the crack from where they do the things. Happened.
Were you there when Sigs blew up?
Happened at Bullseye too.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was like a channel in the center of the...
And you sweep it, but that just becomes filled up with...
Yeah.
And it blew up.
Yeah, 22 mag is cool, though.
Yeah.
Keltec did one, didn't they?
Yeah, and there's like 19 or 20 or however many rounds in it.
Yeah.
But it's a ripper, 22 mags, pretty sweet.
22 mag kill stuff. It's good. That's cool. Man, I mean, what kind of guns don't y'all make? Y'all make shotguns?
We make some like single shot shotguns under Rossi. So we have like a really little lightweight turkey gun.
Oh yeah. I've seen it. Okay.
Shorter things that people like to, in Texas, they have them in their truck and shoot snakes with them and stuff.
Oh, let's make a 8.6 one of those.
It's kind of like the handy rifle.
We are.
Oh,
thanks for the invite.
Great.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So the natural progression of that single shot break action was, coming out, which, they did back in the day. Rossi used to have some centerfire stuff.
I have one, 243 and 20 gauge.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so now we're doing, so we're coming out with 350 Legend for certain states that have that problem.
Yeah.
Straight wall cartridge issue, and then 300 blackout, and then 8.6.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. You should make 300 and 8.6.
Yeah.
That handy rifle we did, I always say, it's so fun.
Yeah.
You think, it's stupid. I don't want that. That'd just be for my kid. No, that gun is so fun. Subsonic with a silencer. You know what else I saw the other day, speaking of this? So Hornady with the Sub X ammo, which I like. It's good. I'm a fan of that ELDX. Like, their factory loads are great. But their Sub X stuff, I didn't know they had so many Sub X SKUs now. I went to an in-store event that we did up at Perro's in Vermont, Woodbury. Yep. What a cool town. Ben and Jerry's is there. Man, I was like jonesing. Like, it was like 3 blocks away, and I wanted to go over there on the tour, and I was just thinking, no, just go have a beer. and I was thinking about it, it's like if we had Ben and Jerry's instead of a brewery next to us, every one of us would have diabetes and weigh 500 pounds. Yeah. Oh, my Lord, that stuff. They're liberal idiots and all, but that's some good ice cream. But we were there, and so they had a wide selection of ammo, but they had that Sub X in 350 Legend, subsonic, and 4570, subsonic.
410 grain, 4570.
Is that what you just told me you were shooting? Someone was just telling me about.
Yeah, I just got some for my 4570, and
that's
why I was talking to you about a silencer for it, because
that hybrid sucks.
It's heavy.
Well, we'll do a little trading. We'll get you some silencers. Get me a 4570 threaded lever gun. Oh, I'm gonna turn that into a cowboy range out at our place. That's what we're gonna start.
Do you make a big loop?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's kind of medium loop, but it's.
Why do you want that?
Because Terminator 2, dude, swung it around.
Oh, well, that was Terminator.
Yeah, and it was a shotgun. But what other? Cool.
Why did they do that originally?
The big set. It was a.
Was that just a thing on a TV show where he spins the gun around?
No,
I think it's a glove thing.
I think it's for gloves because the original lever was pretty. I mean, my fingers, I can only fit 3 fingers in like original lever gun. So
cool.
say what you want.
Me that sometime.
Say what you want about that.
Can you show me that sometime? I'd like to see that.
But no, I think for gloved hands, I think it's
okay.
Big old loop.
I don't think I need a big hoop.
No.
Well. Oh man, that's cool. Okay, well, you guys are doing all kinds of stuff. And you're gonna do this bolt gun in 8.6.
Yep, we're testing it right now. So we've developed the tooling for the hammer forge and all that, and now we're just shooting because the gun's made in Brazil. We don't have any 8.6 ammunition in Brazil right now, so we're it's a little.
If you guys had an ammo company,
right? Yeah. So
they have an ammo company.
Yeah, a very large one actually. But
I didn't actually know that.
yeah, our majority shareholder of our company is CBC Global Ammunition, so it's like the largest in the world ammo company.
Oh no.
Seems like Taurus CEO pull a couple strings, get
Yeah,
six ammo made.
They do have some interest in it, and it helps us too on the cost side for production testing and all that. You know,
let me tell you,
there's a ton of benefit in them doing it, but they are interested in it and looking at it. So.
That would be so good. MagTech ammo is good.
Yeah,
if you could have that at a reasonable price, probably twice what their normal margin is, they would clean up in the States.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Oh, yeah. I shot new supers this past weekend. Dave Stark's loading those new supers for 8.6.
I didn't even know. You told me. Yeah, you and James went on and their new guy. What's his name? John?
John, yep.
Y'all went on a buffalo hunt?
American buffalo, yeah. So not as spooky as the ones you guys shoot, but
I don't know. If you wound it and got in his face like a foreign tourist at Yellowstone, I bet it could have been a great video.
I love that, yeah. No, so we're working with an outfitter out there in Idaho with the Adventure Hunter program that we're working on. And I hit him up about doing 6-ARC content because I know you can shoot prairie dogs and rock chuck and whatever. Tons of opportunity out there, more so than here, even on the predator side. So we needed to get some content with 8.6, and he said, "Hey, well, we've got some bison out here if you want to shoot a bison." I said, "Well, how much?" He's like, "They're cheap." And I said, "Oh, okay." And he said, "I'd really like a fix." I said, "All right, well, turns out I know a guy that makes a fix."
I really like trading.
Yeah, so, and that's what he said. He's like, "I love to horse trade." I was like, "I'll shoot a horse for sure." But I guess he meant something else.
What is it? The Mustangs of New Jersey? Old Jay. Yeah. You just go to New Jersey, you want to shoot some horses. I mean, they're literally fucking
they're
everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. I got to make my trip. But yeah, so we traded a fix, and we're going to do some work with him anyway. But so there was it was cool for us because we're going to get a bunch of meat for the shop and everyone can have meat. And they had to kind of thin out this herd anyway. So he's like, "Hey, look, there's too many cows. We got to get rid of some cows and do meat hunts anyway." And so it worked out. We got content. He said there's a huge cow here that I think we have it on camera too. He's like, "If you were going to shoot one cow in your whole life, it should be this one." And I think they normally get to about 1,000 pounds. This one was about 1,300 pounds.
I know you like them thick.
That's
those
right.
Thick girls.
That's right. Honestly, when he told me the one to shoot, I was like, "Are you sure that's a cow?" Because it's wide and the horns go kind of straight up more so than curl in.
The body's 30% bigger than the rest of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was cool. So it's kind of wide open territory, which like, how are you going to sneak up on them when they're out there?
The old plains.
Yeah. So one would call it the plains. So it ended up being really good. We got good content, good photos, good video. And it ended up being a cool stock. We found this dry riverbed that we kind of jumped down into, and the grass was 2 or 3 feet tall on either side, so we could kind of sneak around. There's a tree, and it's in old farmland, so there's like destroyed little barn and like old horse pen or whatever, so everything's just mangled. So there's a little bit of cover if you can get to it, and we followed this riverbed all the way through and kind of crouched and crawled through some stuff and came up behind a tree and then kind of shimmied over to like these broken down fence posts and stuff like that. And I set up on sticks or on a tripod with a Armageddon gear bag on top of it, shot it quartered to me at 160-ish, 150, 160.
Nice.
The round ended up going about 5 feet and passing through it. So I shot at 200 grain bullet that we can talk about after from Discreet Ballistics, put it right behind the shoulder, blew through the lung. Looks like it pierced the other lung on its way through and came out basically in front of the other opposite hip. And that one would have done it. But as soon as you shoot it, they all group together and just kind of protect. So we couldn't find the one I shot. So
this is how you shoot 2 buffalo.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was worried about.
100%.
I'm like, I do not want to shoot another one. So we ended up shimmying around, and it was cool because
how does Jay shimmy?
It was pretty smooth.
It was
smooth shimmy.
It's a nice shimmy.
I've shimmied before. So we kind of shimmied around to the side, and I ended up getting another broadside shot. She was wobbly anyway, but we just sped it up and got a perfect broadside shot right behind the shoulder, blew the top of the heart off. And she found herself on Queer Street and didn't know which way was up or down and tipped over, and
nice.
It was good to go. Yeah, but another through and through. But that round is a ripper. So Dave at Discreet Ballistics it's a higher BC super. So the thing for me was like we've been focusing a lot on subsonic because it's super effective and it's cool. Like it's just fun. It's awesome and you have shown that it's very effective on target. I haven't seen a ton of. It's almost no one's really making bullets yet specifically for 8.6 as far as supers, at least as far as I know. And so I'm super interested in the idea of the small gun that you can shoot far with. So I said, well, I was talking to Dave and I'd actually heard from someone else that he was loading these rounds and it's a higher BC. I think it's advertised as a G1 of 502, which I don't know whether or not that's true, but, and his target velocity is 2,100 feet per second out of that 12 inch. And so when we went I got dope on the 210s that we had from Gorilla. And I don't have a ton of rounds through the gun from them, or of that specific bullet, but granted, I'm a mutant and I'm not the greatest shot in the world, but I was getting groups that I wasn't the most excited about with some of those supersonic offerings right now. I shot off like a kind of a hasty rest when we were out in Idaho and I shot an inch immediately. And I think if I were more stable, it would have been significantly better. So even just right then, I'm like, I'm super happy with this.
Yeah, I think Discreet. Dave does a really good job with his loadings.
Yeah.
The bullet designs are good. I always say the same thing. He just needs to put a tip in those subsonics.
And these ones, luckily, have a brass tip in them. So I've got a couple on my desk. I'll show them to you.
That's awesome. So they'll work in the gas guns and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was super good. Again, granted, it's just a bolt gun, but like no issues feeding. Everything felt super smooth, super fast. I was super happy with the group that I got, and he didn't have a ton to load. He only loaded up 20 for me. So the first thing I did was put a 3-inch group, made my couple click adjustment from the dope I had before, and then we shot, I don't know, out to 400-ish and got first round impacts on everything out to 400, and I was like, we're good to go. So it ended up
he did the same with me with the subs when he first did the first 8.6. He sent me a box of 20. He's like, can you shoot some stuff in Africa with it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but my man, 20 rounds and like getting dope to 300 with 8.6 subs.
Yeah.
I was like, of course, it's you. I'll do it. And fortunately, like, I don't know, I got dope. I guessed and just got lucky guessing and only used like 4 or 5 rounds to get it zeroed in the dope. Ended up shooting several things with it with a box of 20, but
yeah, the way I ended up doing it was I was with Nick. I got dope out to 400 with the 210s that we had, and then I knew, okay, we're going to be at altitude, and the grain weight's a little lighter, so I know it's going to be a POI shift, but it shouldn't be crazy. Then I knew what my muzzle velocity was with the 210s. I talked to Dave, said, hey, what's your target velocity? Whatever. So I just that in mind, put that group, made the adjustments, and then I had my dope with me for the 210s, and I just kind of guessed, like, oh, if it's 1.2 on that, it's probably 0.9 or 1 for this. And I have all my dope, and luckily my guesses were good, and it made sense. And then we also had some 220 grain supers from Just Cause Solutions. That's a newer one. Those ripped too. I mean, we didn't get to see him shoot anything super big.
That fast twist and a 338 bullet is just very good.
Yeah. If you have a prairie dog problem, 220 grain 8.6 makes them disappear. So, and we have that on footage as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it's exciting. 8.6, I mean, it's fun. I don't know. It's good. It gives me an excuse to get to go hunt. So I love that.
Yeah. It's cool. The idea of the supersonic, and I know because I was talking to Nick, he's like, do it with subs. I'm like, it's not that I don't think I can't. Like, obviously we can do it. I just am so interested in the idea of, and I think it's because one of the guests, that's actually the next podcast that comes out, but Foster Huntington, he's out west, and he is super into the idea of small gun, shoot really far. He basically is like, I want a 12-inch, 600-yard deer gun, which luckily we pretty much make.
Yeah. Especially if we did a hybrid case like that SIG 277. What if we did that with 160 grain 338 bullet?
Well, he just told me, I'll show you after this. He has some of that hybrid stuff, and I don't know what he did, but he's doing 300 blackout with it, and he's getting like out of it's not a 16. I want to say it's a 12-inch barrel that he has.
3,000 feet a second.
Just about like almost 2,800 feet per second. And he's
that's
all excited. Yeah, and he's shooting the 120 grain Barnes out of it.
Yeah.
And he showed me a handful of projectiles that he had, and they were all consistently expanded the same way. Like, it seems real cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask Mr. Taurus some questions.
Yes.
So, Taurus in America, you're in Bainbridge, Georgia now.
Yep.
My home state. Not your home state. You're Oregon Duck.
About as far away from my home state as possible, but that's by design, so it's good.
When did you move to Taurus? When did you become the CO?
January 2020.
Oh, right before shit went crazy.
Yeah, but that was fun.
Yeah, it was a interesting time for sure. It was. I was anticipating, the challenges that I was brought in to help kind of fix.
Yeah.
And like the company was about half the size as we are today, so the leadership wasn't happy with the sales and some of that kind of stuff. And then pandemic and all the stuff happens. Sales aren't really the problem. It's like managing people and getting them to come to work and other problems.
And you moved from Miami to Georgia. Yeah. And how many people moved?
About 75.
75 out of how many?
300.
So starting over.
Yeah.
In a new facility. Okay. Yeah.
In a town that turns out has almost zero unemployment. So we were rapidly hiring, trying to build the ranks up, and we had to fill in about 300 jobs, and we probably hired 700 people to get to the 300 because they'd show up and a week later they just stopped showing up, or they weren't a good fit or whatever. And even getting people to come to job interviews during COVID was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, what a weird time.
Yeah.
Well, and two, you don't have a history there. Like, you're pretty much building a whole new culture and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a gun background before? Like, I know you said you grew up hunting, but did you have a gun background before jumping into being the CEO of a gun company?
Yeah, no. So I've worked in the
It's just real lucky.
I was like, that's crazy.
Basically out of college.
Yeah.
So when I was in college, I started working in the industry. So, since I was 19, kind of like Kevin, but I didn't start my own company.
Your first was Crimson Trace?
Crimson Trace.
Wow.
And then worked at Loopold for a couple of years.
You were in school when you went to Crimson Trace?
Yeah, I was 19.
So, like, working or interning?
I was an accounting intern for 3.5 years.
Accounting.
What the?
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Well, I mean, learned real quick that I didn't want to be an accountant, but I got to do things like with the engineers, like, they'd have to go and do endurance tests, and they're like, well, bring the stupid 19-year-old that thinks this is fun.
Well, too, Crimson Trace wasn't a big company,
no,
so
you
got to do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So, I think they had like 95 employees at the time.
That's way bigger than I thought.
Yeah. And so, I got to do a bunch of things and learn what I liked and what I didn't.
Yeah.
Learned very quick I didn't want to do accounting.
Happened to me with law.
Yeah. But, that's what I got my degree in, and it's a good background now. But,
So your degrees in accounting.
Yeah, finance and accounting.
Nice.
But then, I kind of liked the sales stuff and learned a little bit of that. And so that's when I went to Loopold and worked in sales for a couple of years.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were like in product management there.
Yeah, that started at Walther.
Okay, so how long were you at Loopold?
2 years.
Okay, so not all that long.
Yeah,
and then you got an offer at Walther.
Yep.
And they were in Arkansas.
Yeah, they had just started. Walther prior to 2013 was distributed in the U.S. by Smith & Wesson.
Oh, that's right. The P-22s. That was okay.
And so the ownership of Walther decided they wanted to start their own thing and have a team focused on just their brand, and which I think is the right move. Obviously Smith & Wesson is going to focus on their stuff, and then whatever they sell of Walther's just whatever.
Yeah.
And they wanted the U.S. presence and someone that's focused on the U.S. market to kind of lead their product efforts and all that kind of stuff. And so I went there. In 2013, there was really like only a handful of us. It was in sales and marketing and product, it was 2 of us. And so I just took on a lot of the product responsibilities and things like that. I was technically the sales manager. And then, we'd hire people and then they'd leave and go somewhere else. And so I just stepped into these roles and worked my way up to being director of product development, and then eventually VP of sales, marketing, and product. So I was just kind of like in charge of all of that.
Yeah.
But I was going to Germany once a month and working hands on with engineers on new guns. And so like, that's really what I learned. I loved the most. Like, I'm not truly a sales guy. I just understood the process and like knew how to manage reps and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not the guy to go in and be like, pitch this new product to, or pitch a promotion to a dealer and get them excited about it. Like,
Yeah, we've been friends a long time. You don't,
yeah.
rub me as a sales guy.
Yeah. So, like I can talk about product all day long and dive into that. And that's what really gets me most excited.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
So does that, I guess now in your current job so like with the expedition, was that something that other people brought to you, or were you directly involved in that as well? Like I know because it's such a big, I see this company, I know what SIG is like, I know what Here is like. You're directly involved in all the things that we do. SIG, Ron is not directly involved in all the things so I just don't know how close you get to the product.
Like, yeah, extremely hands-on.
Yeah.
So we have engineers and product managers that are constantly working on it, but I mean, I don't know how many times per week we have meetings that we dive into like small details, like things as small as grip texture, slide serration designs, what the trigger should really feel like. We'll print several models of grips and
More
all
like me.
feel them.
Yeah, I was saying that's cool for a big company to be that way. I think that's
Yeah.
very
I mean,
rare.
Ron, I don't think's come out of his top story office in many years, and yeah.
But the expedition rifle, I think, like the specs more or less came from me. Now,
Right.
like there's
Yeah,
people
also
that did the
Bret hunts a
execution.
lot.
Of course, yeah.
Brett hunts a lot and shoots, so
Right,
it's like
right.
a different thing than
Yeah, then SIG.
Ron or Tom Taylor or any of those dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's so you guys cover just about every segment of the market now.
Getting close, yeah.
So
Getting very close.
So you go there, you guys build a new facility in Bainbridge. And you guys have done a lot in a few years. Those 22s. What's the biggest thing right now? Like the cowboy stuff for a couple years has gotten really popular again.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, the last 2 years, lever action rifles and revolvers have been on fire. And a lot of our development has been in that too. So it's not just the market growing, it's new stuff that we've brought. And our brand is improving,
Yeah.
like specifically in the revolver segment, there are like expert revolver shooters like Chuck Haggard, like Daryl Bolke. These guys are like old school cops that carried revolvers on duty. And they're widely known as like the revolver experts in the world. And 10 years ago, they wouldn't touch a Taurus revolver. And they're like, you can see it on their social media today. They're openly saying that we're building better revolvers than Smith & Wesson today.
Well, you go back in time 20, 25 years, no one would believe that ever.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could take that executive judge that you sent me, like Back to the Future, 25 years ago, and be like, this is Taurus in 25 years.
Yeah. No, so that's been exciting. And, like the executive grade has been a great project for us to kind of showcase what we're capable of.
Yeah.
But a lot of the features and refinements that we put into those executive grade guns end up trickling down into the regular production.
Of course.
So we find efficient ways to do certain things.
Yeah,
and
you find
clean the
efficient
trigger
ways
up,
to do
better
it.
finishes, those type of things, and find out how to put them in mass production. And it makes the whole line better. And this is really like, I actually pitched that idea when I was interviewing for the job. So this is a way that you can change the perception of the brand. You come up with a top tier, I was calling it like black label at the times. It's like, or single batch, small batch, turns out all of those cool names are taken, but so we call it executive grade, but like I was pitching that to the leadership in Brazil during the interview process. Like, this is one small thing that you can do that would drastically change the way people think.
It's so cool. I mean, just so ironic that I talk about when I got into guns, like the pinnacle of the highest quality guns were H&K and SIG.
Yeah.
And now, and Taurus and Rossi, those are like budget, not considered quality, just, not in the league of Smith & Wesson or SIG or any of those brands. And now it's interesting to see the trajectories. Like SIG is a huge company now and does a lot of cool stuff, but the overall brand and quality and Taurus is just like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea until you started showing me some of the guns 2 or 3 years ago. And I got that 22 and the little 9mm compact. Like if that thing said Glock, I would believe it's a Glock.
Yeah.
You know, and then, seeing that Rossi that Amy had, how nice that thing was. Yeah. And then that new Judge, because I had one of the original Judges and it was cool. I had 2 at my farm, you know, and we shot a lot of rattlesnakes, so it was cool to have it, but it wasn't a Smith & Wesson.
Right.
But and just seeing how Taurus's brand and quality has gone, you know, in the opposite direction of a lot of what SIG's done.
Yeah, when Jason Vincent showed me the executive grade model that had
It was 856.
yes, with the bob hammer on it.
That was the first one that we did.
So cool, and he handed it to me, and like the lockup is super tight. Like everything is really. You 100% could put it up against a Smith & Wesson and see a difference.
Well, and the cool thing
in Smith & Wesson, it's the same thing as SIG. Like Smith & Wesson, when I was a kid and got into guns, their revolvers were incredible.
Yeah.
Like they made a lot of great quality guns. And then it just started, you know, to taper off. It's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, there's always this price pressure in the market, right?
Yeah.
And like, I guess we've always been able to enjoy this, but we always did it, you know, with less quality or less R&D resources. The engineering wasn't as good as it is today. Yeah. Our engineers are talented as hell.
Olivier, he's incredible.
And the team in Brazil, like, you know, they're open-minded. They listen to us, which is a challenge when you have this kind of multinational corporation. They listen to us, and then they come up with these cool ideas. So, like, you know, it's a small thing, but like on that executive grade Judge, I was asking them to come up with a brass bead or gold bead front sight, and they didn't want to go with like a traditional way there because it was too expensive. So they actually did something that saved money. You know, the Judge typically comes with a fiber optic front sight. They just replaced the fiber optic with a brass rod. It was really smart.
Yeah, that's something I
cool.
know.
And it looks great.
It looks cool. I like it. That's what my gun has.
You know, so they are very thoughtful in certain things, but they're creative.
Well, thinking about like it's a Brazilian company and there's that culture and that gun culture and manufacturing and all. When you think about like, look at your background, but then look at Olivier's background. One of your engineers I've been friends with for 25 years, and he was a punk kid because he and I are like the same age at FN. And he was a nobody, and he got to work on, you know, he's young engineer. He gets to work on the pistols. And, you know, FN's a real gun company. Like as far as military stuff have been for a long time, great company. And he got that experience of, okay, this is the way we make things, the way we test things. This is what we have to do. And he did all the polymer pistols and all that stuff. But then, you know, it's like guys that are ambitious, in my opinion, when you go to a company like SIG or FN, it's like, okay, I want to do all these things, and we're here. And, you know, FN makes M250 cals, and they make, you know, there's a few guns they really make, and that's the focus. Okay, I'm a junior guy here. I'm not going to be able to do this. But now I've got 10 years experience at a company that makes stuff for every military in the world. I want to go do things. For him to go to like Taurus, and okay, Taurus has this reputation. All they used to make were some revolvers and a Beretta knockoff, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's, look at all the new things that they do. So what a great opportunity for a kid with that experience. Now he's my age, he's 50 or 51 or whatever. And he's had all this great experience at a company that makes all the stuff for every military in the world. And you see all that in that testing, and you get to go to a company that wants to grow and change. And what an impact guys like that can have. And you can have, where before that, if it's just Brazil making the decisions for America.
Yeah. And, you know, like the company tried some innovative things in the past, like the curve, and, you know, I'll give them credit for doing something different, because that was very different than,
it was, you know, it was bold.
The execution of it wasn't great, you know, but, and, you know, ultimately it was probably a piece of trash, but like they tried. Well, I haven't seen any other pistol companies try something that bold and innovative lately.
You know, like you spend time in these countries, and I spend time in all these countries, and it's like, it's one thing with Kel-Tec, and I have no idea what you think of Kel-Tec, but Kel-Tec, you know, now's been around forever, but, you know, that's a really brilliant guy that designs all that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he comes from a different place, and you take things to the 15-yard line or whatever, and you stop, and it's price, and that's good enough. You know, and when you work at Leupold or Walther, or you work at FN, like, that's not good enough.
Right.
And you know, it's just a mindset and a cultural difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it is interesting because, you know, one of the frustrations at Walther is how long it took to get things to market. You know,
The Germans are the worst.
And they do a great job.
Yeah, the stuff's great, but it's 10 years.
You know, they came out with the PDP after I left, but I had been working on that gun for years. Like I had already shot, you know, 10,000 round endurance tests with that gun, and it didn't come out for years after I left. And it's like
Boombox.
Yeah, well,
but I mean, I know what you're saying, and H&K is the same way.
Yeah.
When SIG was in Germany, they're the same way. But you know, they're really great at stuff, but it takes them. If you want it now, it's a decade later.
yep, yeah,
It is. It's so strange to see though. Like you were just talking about a company that you have all these resources, and not necessarily Taurus, but like any company. And I go to SIG where it's like they have all of these resources. They have everything they could ever want, unlimited money, and they don't have any risk. They don't push it. Like the classic line pistols from SIG are some of the greatest pistols in history. And since then, they came out with one gun, I guess two because 365, but it's the same thing. And then they've just been riding on that for almost 10 years now.
The MCX, we did the MCX when I was there.
Right.
And that MCX MR was the spear that they have now. Like,
yeah.
all those guns are old. But also, I mean, I think it is, you know, I don't know. We love to shit on SIG because they're down the street. But everybody here loves SIG and like worked at SIG. Like if we have a new posting for a job, 100 of the 150 resumes are at SIG from SIG. And so inevitably, and you know, and I think we've created a good company and culture. And so guys come here, and most of the new hires are just people that, you know, guys that work here that recommend, you know, and they recruit their friends from SIG. Like we don't know the people, but anyway, Bret loves guns, loves hunting. I love guns, love hunting. You know, and it's different. I don't know that SIG is wrong, and probably too for the two German owners and for Ron Cohen, the CEO, it's right. But like Ron is very influenced by the new people that he's hired from other places, and if his sales guys say that, hey, the whatever new gun is the ultimate and change the world, he just regurgitates that. You know, he doesn't know. He doesn't go shoot any guns. I don't know that Ron Cohen shot a gun since he was in the Army 40 years ago.
yeah.
And that's cool, but it's, you know, he just did a video, and Bret and I watched it last night, and I'd seen it already with James Reeves, Truth About Guns.
Yeah.
And Ron doesn't really do interviews, and he did. And then you see the comments in it.
Just real quick, James Reeves is TFB.
Oh, it's truth.
Truth About
They're
Guns,
too
yeah.
close. So yeah, the
I
firearm
just didn't want to
blog
slander
TV.
anyone. I don't know if they got beef or anything.
No,
like that.
I get it wrong all the time.
Yeah.
What they change anyway?
Yeah.
So sorry, James.
Him and Ron.
Yeah. So they're talking, and hey, I don't know. I didn't know that I would like James Reeves before I met him, and probably half of that's because I knew he was an attorney. Mm-hmm. He's cool as hell. I love James.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of him because he's in Ron's office, and he asked Ron hard questions. You see it, like about the 320 drop and all the redesign and recalls, and you know, of course, Ron said he would answer anything, and he talks around. He's probably smart. But anyway, when you talk to him and he says stuff about guns, and it's like, yeah, he doesn't really shoot or know guns. You know, and to his credit, he's built an incredible company over there.
Absolutely.
And a big company, and they make lots of money and do lots of revenue. But you know, they have 5 generations in the first 3 years of product. Like with all those resources, I mean, think about what we're doing with the boombox. Could have shipped the boombox 2 years ago, and letting them do all the testing, because like I want to do the 5th generation gun before we ship it. And that's the way it should be.
Right.
But also like when you're passionate about it, like you aren't going to develop shit. And if your guys bring you shit, you're going to know it's shit. Where I think that's a problem in a lot of the companies, and it could be some of the publicly traded companies now, whether it's Smith or whoever. But in Ron, like Ron doesn't know anything about guns, like, and he does, and he's a brilliant guy, and I would love to be as smart as him in most ways. But he just doesn't have the passion for guns. He wanted to build, and if you have half a brain and watch those videos and he talks, you can see it. It's big corporate, and he's going to wave the flag, but he wanted to turn it into $1 billion company.
And he's very good at that. He's very good at, and like even interview stuff, at least that I've seen, he's very good at politics. Like you ask him a question, he'll answer everything except for the question.
I think it is. Yeah, he seems like a politician. That's a lot of the comments in that video, but he's not impressive as someone in that position. If you're knowledgeable about the industry or about guns, like you look at it and you're like, oh, he's full of shit. He's never even shot that gun.
That's what was so funny to me is when I was still there, they like announced to everyone that Ron was working on a special project, and it was a 1911 that said it was a commemorative, like 1776. Like that's what to us we're all like, wait a second, they got the Israeli guy who doesn't know a ton about guns working on this special, basically like commemorative for the United States of America, like 1776, like Star Spangled Banner all over, like ugly gun, but it's just like this doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's different, but I mean you can't fake it, and like but it's just different missions. Like there's parts of SIG I would love to have, but overall that is not something that interests me. 3,500 employees and no, I mean, it's a different thing. Like you look at how much Taurus has changed in the last 30 years in which direction. And like my goal here is I want us to be the most innovative and highest quality gun company ever. And, do you ever reach those things? Like maybe not, but if that's always the goal and that's what we're striving for and you don't compromise and, we wait 2 years to ship the boombox rather than doing it as arbitrary date that he sets for whatever reason, how far ahead are we with that, and how long can that last? And what are we trying to do? And, but of course, Ron's also like 65 years old. So I don't know how long he wants to work, maybe forever. I don't know, but you can't fake it. And some of it is maybe from a business standpoint, if you're a couple German billionaires that bought SIG for $1, pretty good deal you got with old Ron Cohen doing it. But for me, I never have aspirations of that. Like I've never thought about, how do I become a billionaire? For me, my passion's always been guns. And I got lucky to find a passion. And I think like your passion's obviously the same. And it's like, how can we, and it shows in the company over time, like how can we make the greatest thing and the highest quality? Like Taurus you didn't turn Taurus into Lorson. You turn Taurus into like a great American gun company that's innovative, and the products, you're growing so much and the products are getting more innovative and higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's not easy because, that's my goal. We're talking today and it's like, okay, so traditionally Q has grown at this rate, and at this size now, probably 10 to 20% a year is the rate that we can grow and continuously improve quality.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't know. I mean, you're probably smarter than me, and Ron is too, but I mean, well, he's making money, but how do you do that? I don't think you can do it at a bigger scale than that. Or seems risky.
You're also showing with Taurus too, like, you can make guns that are competitive price-wise without cutting corners. And in fact, you're making improvements on the competition, I think. I mean, even just like this rifle, you told me all the things that go into it, and you talked about it here, but you're making this thing that's competitive price-wise, and you're adding all these features that if anything, it's showing like, hey, maybe these other companies are...
Well, I think like the Springfield Waypoint seems like a nice gun, but I don't know how much it is. Like I bought Morgan one.
1,400?
Well, in Canada, it's like 2,500 or so.
Yeah, I think it's more than 14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, and she didn't have the fix yet. Now she's got a fix, but I bought her to hunt moose. So I bought her a Springfield Waypoint through. It's a nice gun, but for what it is, I'm like, And pretty much it was hard in Canada to find a gun with even a 20-inch barrel. Like they still have 24-inch barrels on everything. And so anyway, I got her that. But one problem, it'll be interesting to me to see how this goes for you with this rifle. And I hope I can learn from you on, here's the thing I've seen with bolt guns, and you know more about most of the industry than I do. But if the way people, the idiots online and the consumers generally measure a bolt gun is how accurate is it? And it's like, well, and it's not hard to make a bolt gun accurate.
Right.
But also, like, how accurate are you?
Right.
But the thing that's expensive that I found, and we have in common, even though these guns are very different, what you really should pay for are all the features of the gun. Like a bolt gun, Savage makes a great, accurate bolt gun.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so...
I mean, there's a reason we didn't go to the $400 price point. We don't want to... Like, Savage Axis has that all day. It's a good gun.
Good luck competing with
Why?
it at
Why
that
would
price
we do that?
point. Yeah, but, you know, when you talk about your gun at that price, and I love Tikka. Tikka, I think, is, as of right now, a commercially available gun at that price point. It's hard to beat. They did a lot of things right with that gun. Okay, so what I love about it, 60-degree bolt throw. You got that. You know, one thing I don't like about Bergara, other than the 9-degree, it's like, I don't know, Bergara to me seems like cheap knockoff shit most of the time. Like, I don't view it as a quality of what I think your gun is, or that Waypoint, or a Tikka. Like, I don't view it in that quality. I think of Bergara like Savage. That doesn't mean it's bad, but I just don't think of it in that category. But 9-degree bolt through, I think, sucks because it's slow, but you also, the scope and hitting the scope. But then you talk about features you have in there. You have M-lock in the stock. You have the flat for, and so many people use those tripods now that grip the gun. That's an innovative, cool feature. You use AI pattern detachable magazines. That's a feature you don't get in a lot of guns at that price point. Right. All right. Because, you know, you and I hunt enough to know, like, if you just hunt a few times a year or whatever, you're top loading and then you have to unload, like, whatever. But as much as we hunt and all, like, that sucks. Screw that.
On this sheep hunt, I will have my magazine loaded in the gun, and then I'll have another magazine loaded in my.
And how much faster is that? And when you're under anxiety, stress of like shooting something, whether it's a dangerous situation or just the animal getting away and you have to track it, being able to pull a mag out, put in and shoot, or you get loose rounds and you're fumbling, trying to like. I
used to
sucks.
hunt, and I would load the gun, and I would carry like 3 rounds of 300 Win Mag jingling around in my pocket. That's how I grew up hunting.
That's what I had in Cameroon on my buffalo hunt, and I had to reload because I had 3 rounds in the mag loading to get there. I had 3 rounds. I shoot it twice, and so once I shoot the buffalo twice, and he runs in this other next thicket, I go over there, 2 rounds out, load the gun. More rounds in the mag to shoot. And, it's not in the magazine. Well, it's in the magazine, but I have to top load. Right. And so I'm trying to get through the jungle that's grabbing me. There's a buffalo. There's dogs yelling because they're baying it. We got a wounded buffalo, and I'm having to do that rather than just put a mag in blind. So, and then you put M-lock, you put the Spartan adapter, which that's pretty snooty of you. That's freaking awesome. Yeah. Like, nobody does that. Okay, so
Clifford
now
and Howe, they're the only ones that do that.
Switch.
Well, and I think I think Blaser has something. There's some European.
Okay, so
but
the guns that cost
$10,000.
Yeah, $10,000. Yeah. Well,
it doesn't cost us anything to mold it into. It molds it into the stock.
Yeah, so that feature, being able to switch barrels, like it's the features that you pay for. So now when you think about like the Tikka doesn't have you got to change the stock. So the Tikka's not really in that category.
And the bolt release is different on those too. Like you've got that.
I like that a lot. That's way better to me than having it in the trigger. I don't like when you start putting the mag releases or bolt releases in the trigger. Yeah. That stuff doesn't make sense to me. I think it is one kind of weird thing, but I actually even like the Tikka put I don't like they use their own mags in a lot of ways because you can't get extended ones typically, and they're harder to find.
Yeah. And
I don't really love the AI pattern mag, but I think definitely for your gun, like that's a great choice because they're so prolific. Magpul makes them and they're great.
Yeah.
But, Tikka puts the mag release in the front, which I like in some ways rather than being in the trigger guard or whatever.
I've got a CZ that it's in the front, but you can also lock it too. So it's a flush fit mag. But you can lock. It's actually, I'm really impressed with that gun. The CZ. It's newer. It's the 600.
CZ makes some nice rifles. I like CZ rifles.
The 600 Lux. The trigger on them super easy to adjust, but also comes real great.
A traditional off the shelf rifle. I would pick Tikka and then CZ.
Yeah,
I like both of those a lot.
Yeah, it's just cool like to have that because you can flush fit it and you could top load it if you want, and it's a push button to release the mag, or you can just slide that button forward and it locks it. So I don't know. It's cool.
You only need to lock it because you can accidentally release it.
Hit that button. Exactly.
There'd be a better way to do that.
Yeah.
But,
it's recessed enough that you shouldn't, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't care if it's a flush fit. I want to be able to put some rounds in there because 3 rounds is bullshit hunting. Like to me, Agreed. And you get some idiots going to be in the comments, well, if you know how to
only need one.
take an ethical shot, you only need one round. Maybe. Yeah, okay, so you've hunted twice in your life.
Yeah. Or you've never been on a coal hunt or like...
You shot an 80-pound doe with a 3-in-1 mag.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think hunting rifles for most stuff should be 5 rounds. You need 5 rounds.
Yeah, I agree.
Double guns are still cool, though. They're just cool for nostalgia.
They're cool, but they're also dumb. Like, I love it. I have one. If you hunt in Africa and love Africa hunting, I mean, you have a love affair with doubles, right? But when you start thinking about it, like, okay, Rad always wants me when we go somewhere and I can't take the fix, or we need a big bore to bring my double. And I'm like, well, it's cool, but, I have 2 rounds. And Rad's got 4 rounds and a CZ of 450 or 4 or 5. Yeah. And that CZ of 458. And I'm like, I got 2 rounds real fast. And then I got hopefully I have 2 more reasonably fast, and Rad can shoot all 5 before I can shoot 3. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't even know. I mean, it's way better than 1 round.
Yeah.
It's 100 times better than 1 round. But to me, a double rifle is not as good as a good bolt gun with 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but we all love doubles. Like, geez, if I had Ron Cohen money, I would have a whole bunch of doubles.
I got redneck doubles. I got 20 gauges. I put slugs in. That's my redneck double.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else?
I was just real excited about that rifle and the single action guns. Those are super cool.
Well, what about some gun politic things? I don't know. What do we got?
How do you feel about 6-ARC?
I really like 6-ARC. Yeah, I'm a big 6-ARC fan.
You are? And what kind of guns? Because you could have built a 6-ARC mini fix today.
Well, I already have a mini fix that I can put a 6-ARC barrel in.
Oh, look at that.
Like bolt action. I think it's a really cool for like a micro action bolt action. I think it's a really cool idea.
What do you think about 6 Creedmoor?
I like 6 Creedmoor a lot. Yeah, it's to me 6 Creedmoor is like the most fun to shoot because it's just. You can shoot really long range. You can shoot 1,000 yards with 6-ARC, but you can shoot further than that with 6 Creed. Doesn't recoil, like I'm in the process of building a 6 Creedmoor that's like heavy barrel, heavy chassis, like PRS type gun.
Oh, that'd be like shooting a 22.
Yeah, I mean, you see these guys shooting in these competitions, and they're struggling to move it because it's so heavy, and they got sandbags and all that, but when they do, the gun doesn't even shift, and they just run the bolt and shoot again.
Laser
and
beam.
It's just incredible. Like, that's fun.
You know what our boy Terry Hewen did yesterday?
Never heard of him.
With his 6.5 fix.
No, what did he do?
2 miles.
Whoo! On a living being, or
he's such a show off.
16-inch.
16-inch.
Yeah, I was gonna say
2 miles on a standard silhouette.
He's a psycho.
Man, he makes me so mad. I was like,
I'm pretty sure
you're such an asshole. Like, it's so hard to one up him. And he's like, why don't we just work as a team?
Yeah,
like,
he's just made of like gears and hydraulic fluid and stuff. I don't even know if he's a human.
Well, I told you he was on that alligator hunt that I took my 6-year-old son on. Yeah. I gave him a bunch of pointers while we were there.
You did. So he's turned. So he went from 1 mile to 2 miles to spend a weekend with Bret.
That's probably why.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So 6-ARC. So you like it? Okay, cool.
I do like 6-ARC.
I initially was like, I don't care. Had a lot of fun with it in the minifix. I 100% think, it makes sense in an AR platform. But then, and I was like, I don't care about it in a bolt gun because you just go to 6 mil. But then I understand, like, if you want to up your pressure, you can do significantly more higher pressure in a bolt gun than in an AR. And if that's what you want to do.
Well, performance-wise, it's way better than 223. But it's also the delivery system I always talk about. Bolt and magazine with that is a tough thing. And, for our company, 6-ARC doesn't make a ton of sense, right? But we're doing the mini fixes, and I wanted to hate on it, but you shoot it in a mini fix. It is so fun because it shoots like a 223, except it sounds like you hit the targets with a 308.
Yeah. We were shooting prairie dogs with it and ripping it, and then like we handed it. I mean, everyone, like both James and John, like our other cameraman, he shot it there. The guy, everyone that was with us, we all shot it. Everyone was making impacts. We handed it to the guide that we were with, and he was shooting and having fun. And he's like, "What's that patch of red dirt out there?" And we lased it. It's like 1350. And he's like, "What's that hold?" Because there's a rock or a bush in the middle of it. And we're like, I was thinking about my 6.5 because I found very quickly the dope's similar to 6.5 out to a certain distance. So I was thinking about my 6.5. I'm like, I don't know, hold 12 mil. And he held it, hit the dirt, but a little bit in front of the rock or bush he was shooting. And he's like, just in front. I'm like, all right, hold 15. Held 15, second round, smacked it at 1350. And like that was a gun we had no dope on. Like we bore sighted it on a telephone pole an hour before, and we were like close enough, and then made an adjustment when we were shooting prairie dogs. And so he just was like, "I'll hold it."
But with ours, like the fix only weighs a few ounces more than the mini fix, so then you can have 6 Creedmoor, and it's way better than 6 arc at every distance.
Your setup with the carbon barrel with that 6 Creedmoor is, I'm super interested in that. I want to try to get a barrel for my fix.
But it's the same thing. When we had some military customers here last week and interested in 6 arc, and for them it's just because their 308 guns weigh 10 pounds and their 5.56 guns weigh 7 pounds. So then 6 arc could make more sense for them. But it's like, well, our boombox with a 16-inch barrel weighs a pound less than your 223, and you can have 6 Creedmoor, and it's way better. But it's always a thing, and all it is a barrel swap from 308. I don't know. What?
I was just my question about like for their application, not them specifically, but in a military application, it's like, I remember hearing, granted there's other options like 300 blackout, but people were concerned about 5.56 with overpen and that kind of thing. It's like 6 arc is gonna absolutely rip through whatever you're shooting. Like that doesn't. I
mean, you're shooting ELDMs or ELDXs or like
thin jacket.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of the 5.56 stuff out there's green tip
or even just a
totally
thick,
different
thick jacket on those bullets.
Yeah, because
where those ELDM and the ELDX is a very thin jacket. Those bullets deform very easily. Well, that's what people always think. Well, it's going so fast you get penetration. With subsonic rifle bullets, you get much more penetration than supersonic.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite non-Taurus handgun?
Oh, Walther PDP. I mean,
it's good.
I mean,
it's good.
That's my baby. So, so you could disqualify that if you wanted to.
No, I would say, you're just attached. But when I was with JV down in Georgia, he had that new Springfield Echelon or whatever the thing was.
That gun's good.
I haven't shot that one yet.
It was
good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But he also had the Walther. I could not believe that gun when I shot it.
No,
that gun was, handgun's not easy to shoot in general. But we're at the range. It was so easy to shoot. Like he's got the plate rack and all stuff compared to like we had the Glock and the Echelon. I like the Echelon a lot, but that PDP, and he had an acro on it, was so easy to shoot. It was almost boring.
It's the best duty pistol on the market.
So good.
Positive.
There's a video,
that one was good.
There's a video he took of me shooting it. I looked like I was on Team Taurus. I was a professional. Watch out, Casey. But that gun's super fun to shoot. That Hellcat was pretty good too. Did you shoot that Springfield?
No.
He had like a Hellcat Pro. Normally I couldn't care less, but I got little baby hands and it fit real nice in my hands.
No, I've only shot those two. Have you shot that Alien pistol?
I have shot it once.
I shot it. I liked it pretty good.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It's different. It shoots nice, kind of in the same way like the Hudson pistol shot nice.
I never shot one of those.
When they shoot.
Yeah, the ones that they had at SHOT Show range day shot okay. Yeah. But like for the money, I can't justify that. Like, I don't know.
Have either of you shot that Archon pistol? I haven't shot that. I know people like it.
Nice.
But,
What is that?
It's Archon's like Arsenal's importer, right?
Yeah, Archon Type B.
It's basically an Arsenal like Spetsnaz pistol or something.
Oh, no, I've not seen it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, that Alien is very expensive.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time I shot it was the first time I'd ever shot, this was several years ago, but a staccato. Mm-hmm. And I got to shoot them both at the same time. And I liked the Alien and I wanted one. But the staccato was probably half the price. And I actually, the Alien just weren't so different and interesting to me, which is probably, if I were being honest, I probably like shooting the staccato a little better.
It's probably more familiar too, though.
Well, it could be. Could be.
I like the staccato.
I got rid of mine.
What, what else? What do you got, Jay?
Well, now I'm reminiscing about my staccato they got rid of, but.
Oh, poor guy. So you guys are still doing SHOT. You guys do it big.
Oh, yeah. We do a ton of international business there. Like we can't really justify it from a U.S. perspective. We're seeing all of our top customers in the next, 3 or 4 months. So we have all of our business kind of locked down for the first half of next year. We've done all of our planning. Like, what are we really getting out of it other than debuting new product, which in today's, environment, you can do that any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need a show to launch a product anymore.
Yeah.
If you do it right. So
I guess you guys being an international company too,
Yeah,
it's a time for you guys to all get
we
together.
have a ton of international customers that come, and and then just being with the the global team is a good thing. So
Will you guys be at that the Gun Owners of America one, the one in Tennessee next month?
I believe we have people there. Yeah. I won't be there, but yeah.
He has people.
Yeah. You too. You
I
got people
do.
too, because I'll be there.
I will be in Africa.
Yeah.
I'll be in Africa living my best pirate life.
Yeah.
Wishing all the homies were there.
I'll be at GOA sticking Q stickers on the Taurus booth.
I'll be in the mountains of Canada somewhere.
Ooh.
I think.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the pictures and videos. Have you taken GoPros and all?
Yeah, we'll have. I mean, we have a film crew coming.
Oh,
and,
that's right,
Yeah,
'cause
the
you do it with your buddy.
Kuyu guys are bringing a film crew.
They got a couple
and-
bucks.
That's going to be some awesome footage. If I
Yeah.
could get footage like that from Jay, whew, it'd be Ray's City, Jay. Ray's City.
I don't point a camera anymore, but
Well, there you go. All
that's
right.
probably why.
All right. Well, geez.
Do you have I know you've talked about a couple hunts that you're going on. Is there like a bucket list hunt that you still, I know you've killed a Cape buffalo now, and you're about to do sheep. Is there a bucket list hunt that you think you're going to get after in the next couple of years?
So, I think for me, like the buffalo stuff was fun. I want to do more of that. There's definitely some things, like especially after Kevin went to Cameroon a few times, like the Lord Derby eland's very appealing to me. I kind of just want to get out to wild places and experience more. Like we were texting a few weeks ago when I was in Turkey.
Yeah.
So like the mountains in Turkey, which are called the Taurus Mountains.
Right, yeah.
They're fucking beautiful. They have ibex and a bunch of stuff there. Like you don't hear about hunting in Turkey very much. Like some people have done it, obviously.
Yeah.
So I want to go do that. There's a hunt in Tajikistan that I've been invited on and probably going to end up going on.
Is that another ibex?
Yeah, that would be ibex also, which I've never hunted ibex. So,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, like in the next year, I might hunt ibex in Spain, Turkey, and Tajikistan if things work out right.
That sounds like a cool one. I think I asked you recently if that was one, and you were like, yeah, I'm interested, but you don't necessarily want to go to Kyrgyzstan or Uzbekistan.
I'm not crazy about that idea either.
I'm a
I'll
little
go for you.
concerned about that. But also, like, Bret's way more fit and he's younger. And, like, I think I would have to. I don't have an incredible interest in sheep other than it's difficult and it's beautiful there.
Those ibex are so cool, though.
All the animals are so cool, man.
Yeah.
If you start digging into like sheep, it's like, oh, it's just a goat or whatever. If you start digging into like those animals, how tough it is, the things that they can do. Like, man, so many of the wild animals, like it's hard to like, or it's easy to really fall in love, you know, or romanticize all of it and to respect all the animals that, you know, live out in the wild and, you know, bear predators or that with altitude and the mountains and the cold weather. And like, it's harsh. So, you know, but I mean, I think me personally, I do a lot of hard hunts, you know, and like Cameroon, and I made an effort to like, I'm way more fit than I was a year ago and 2 years ago. I'm way stronger, way healthier. But I still drink and eat pizza and ice cream and shit, you know, and I'm not getting any younger. So for me, like I would take it serious. If I go on a sheep hunt, like I got to cut out drinking and like eating shit. And I really, you know, like I don't have to exercise that much because like I'm in the bush half the year.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I stay reasonably fit now for my age and my lifestyle. But that's like another commitment. And even in Cameroon, like it's harsh. They won't even let you be in the jungle, in the rainforest for more than 6 hours typically.
Right.
Because it's so hot and you're fighting the whole time. And, you know, you're fighting the bush and there's just, it's hard. Like there was a couple guys over there when we were there and they couldn't do more than 1 or 2 hours. And they were, you know, and they were early 60s. So they weren't, but so I was in much better condition this year than when I hunted Lord Derby. But that's just next level, like going on the sheep hunts. But also, even in Cameroon, like I can go and you can do 11 kilometers in the rainforest going through the. But then the day, you know, I have to, then you hike out and then you got an hour or two drive to camp. I get to camp, I got a shower, I got a bed, I got somebody cooks me a meal, I got whiskey. Like, I've gotten kind of spoiled, even on the hard hunts. It's like you're hunting during the day doing this. But and it's not often that I have to sleep out in the bush or do any of that shit. And, you know, I don't have to carry all of my gear with me all the time. Like I typically have binos and my gun and a spare mag and a pocket knife. Like, you know, and maybe a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Like it's way easier in some regards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something James and I talked about a little bit on this last hunt as far as like, I mean, at one point we were in Utah driving just through the mountains and it's like, we're both pretty young. It's like I want to get those in eventually. Like the suck. Like spend 3 days in a tent and not see shit for 2 of those days. And like
I don't like. But I also know that I can go out and hunt in the bush and I can sleep in the tent. Like I actually know that I can do that part.
Yeah.
But man, those mountains at that altitude.
Yeah,
that is no joke. And I tell you, there's something mental too about. Unless a plane flies in and drops food off, like you carry your food with you, or you got to kill something. And
it's everything is in your pack. So you know you got to plan for. You know, for me, it's probably gonna be like 4,000, 4,500 calories a day that I have to like lay out on a table and figure out what my meal plan is for the week or for the 10 days.
MREs.
And everything is in my bag.
I don't even keep my calendar.
I know.
How am I going to plan for 2 weeks out in the bush? That would be like, rad, bring our stuff.
Yeah. And then it is like, you know, you're in a tent, but also like it doesn't get dark.
Right.
It gets dark at 1:30 in the morning and it gets light at 3:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, you can actually hunt all day long and you might catch a nap here or there if you're watching sheep or whatever. And like, it's just going to be a long, grueling week 10 days that you just got to be ready to be there the whole time. And, you know, when you see sheep, you got to be ready to put the pack on and just go. And you might climb 4,000 feet elevation and hike 10, 12 miles a day. And you're going to do that every day for 10 days.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a commitment. And, you know, and I just think about like going out there for 10 days and not having a beer. It's like, man, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
Most of the other stuff is just like taking a shower is cool. Having a whiskey or a beer is cool. Having a bed to sleep. I don't know. Like
bed's super nice. And a shower is great.
Yeah. The shower's pretty sweet.
I'll be rubbing down with wet wipes. So I'll send you a video.
Yeah. With the sound on.
No.
Make sure the sound's on.
All right. Well, anything else? Anything going on with you that you want to say, or you got anything else there, Joe?
Well, I want to like hear about some new guns, but I don't. You know, he doesn't need to spill the beans.
Anything he wants to talk about?
Yeah, we actually have some, you know, things that I would say are relatively more exciting than what we've done in the last 6 months. October, probably mid-October, we're coming out with a new gun that, to me, like, and I had a meeting earlier today with our sales team. And one of the sales guys actually said it best. I actually think this gun will change the expectations for entry-level price point guns. The price it will be offered at and what the gun actually is so far above anything that we've done. It's not available on the market today. Like, you could not physically buy this type of gun for the price that it will be available. And that's a conscious decision for us to own the entry-level price point. We could charge more for the gun. It's justified in the quality and the features and all that. But we want to be known as, you know, if you were buying your first gun or you just didn't have a lot of money, that is the one gun you should be buying. And so like mid-October, we'll have that gun out. We're already in production. We have a media event at Gunsight at the end of August for that. So yeah, that's kind of the more near-term thing. And then probably late this year, early next year, we have a few others that are all new platforms for us that will be very exciting.
Oh, all new.
October, you'll be gone, so I'll shoot it for you while you're gone. If you
October, I don't. Maybe. I don't know.
Aren't you going to Australia?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You going straight from Africa?
Yeah, I'm gonna go from Africa over there. I think I'll be gone for a while. I don't know. Maybe come home. It's
Well, either way, I'll shoot it for you if he
Shoot
sends
it
one
for
up.
me?
Yeah, make sure it still works. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send a couple of them over.
yeah. You should be going on that Australia hunt. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's
If
gonna
you
be wild.
do, shoot a horse for me, please, somebody.
They have horses there, Jay. Tell
got-
us, you horse expert.
That's just
Oh,
what
Equine Jay over here.
That's what old Tony Caggiano, who set the trip up, said. He said they got wild horses and you can shoot them. And
Those are camels. They're shooting camels. Like,
He said there's horses though.
I don't know about that, but I am excited.
I don't
to
care if they're wild
get
or
a
not.
camel shoulder mount. JV turned me onto that.
Have you seen those videos? We talk about all the time. Have you seen
just
those?
gonna say.
Oh my god, the videos of the guy that culls the camels.
yeah.
with
Dude,
the pump
it's
action.
wild.
It's
you
sometimes
seen
it's
it?
a bummer, but it's crazy.
It's
it looks,
chaos.
it looks like
cam-
a video game. Like
Yeah.
it's point of view, like
Yeah,
pump action shotgun.
He's got a chest mount GoPro.
Camel murder.
And he
It's
he gets out of his
amazing. He'll
truck
shoot like 40
and
of them.
sprints after them. Lays them out, sprints after them, lays a bunch out. It's
We'll,
unreal.
we'll
It's
have some
amazing.
beers and watch YouTube. Later.
Yeah.
I
It's
wanna see
unreal.
this. I haven't seen this.
It's crazy.
No, I'll go. But the group's going to be real fun. That'd be a great hunt for you to be on.
I know.
You got that important job.
I got
You
tons of stuff in October though. I just can't.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Halloween's a big this is a big holiday for
Jason
me.
was asking. He's like, "Hey man, we're going to go on this trip. You want to go to Australia?" I'm like, I don't know. What are we shooting there? And he's like, And what about? I was like, He's like, oh, and we get to like cull some wild camels. I was like, camels? Yeah, man, I'm in. Why didn't you lead with camels?
Yeah.
So yeah, going to do that. I don't know. Sometimes it's good to go to a country too where English is the native language.
Yeah, that's
there,
fun.
I'm very happy for you that you're going, but I'm also a little sad because
Oh, that's right. You were wanting to go. I forgot about that.
Because he called me. He's like, "Hey, Kevin said he might have another trip. You want to come to Australia?" And I'm like, "I'm already there waiting for you."
And he's asking me every day. He goes, "Don't you have the other thing? I really need to let Jason know if I'm going or not." I was like, "It's like must go." I was like, "Shut up! It's in October.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got to do?
Yeah.
Like, you got kids you got to make arrangements for. Like, you could go that day."
I know, but I'm very happy that you're going, and I hope
bet you
I
are.
hope you enjoy yourself.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I'll take. I need to make some J T-shirts. Wish you were here, but you don't. That'll be in every picture.
It's like
until I
Flat
shoot
Stanley.
something.
We did Flat Stanley when I was a kid.
Oh, all right. Well, Bret, you're such a legend.
No,
I adore you.
are.
I'm so happy we're friends. And
Likewise.
Taurus is lucky. And
Thank you.
yeah, man, keep doing cool shit.
I'm trying, man. It's fun. It's a challenge. It's it's fun for me though. I love it. It's
I think all of us buddies should get together and we do something. It's like we should go on we go over to Africa, we go wherever. But it's like all of us should have 45 70s and we all shoot buffalo. That's a video. And we could all do something with the fix with 8.6 subsonic and then, whatever and whoever, like all the different products. That would be cool.
It'd be cool to see each company like bring even just one special gun. It's like, hey, you got to shoot. Like, because you were talking about that 405 Winchester. Like, I want everyone to shoot something with it. Like, it'd be cool to do that.
We could each bring something unique. Like, hey, I put this together for this trip, and then like every morning, everyone kind of reaches into a hat and grabs a number,
Oh, yeah,
and like you draw what
That
gun
would
you're
be cool.
gonna hunt with that day.
Yeah, I would love that.
That'd be fun.
Because I did just export like 40 guns to over there.
Oh, really?
And some of it is, it's just, we got to work on this. Any IT in here.
Get new headphones
So
or new mixer.
I'm gonna, I have like one of those Griffin and Howell. I have like Hemingway's gun that he had. I have one from the same year or the following year, exact same setup. This 30-06 03 conversion with the scope mount and everything. So I'm exporting that, and I'm gonna do like a leather bound log for it, and I'm gonna make all of you every time you come over. So you got to shoot something with it, and we'll log it the day with a photo, and do that for like 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
And then do something with the gun, like we could auction it or do something, give it away to somebody. But then, so my buddy got me one of the Japanese, was it Maruku?
Moroku, yeah.
Morocco.
Yeah, the 1895 405 Winchester like Roosevelt had over
Yeah.
there. So I want to do the same thing with that, and that's just irons. There's no even accommodation for a scope mount.
Yeah.
So got to do that with irons. So I want to have like 4 or 5 guns that are like interesting and maybe historical to some degree, and we do that and keep a log of everything that shot with them and who shot it, and yeah. Yeah, we should start doing.
You got to get
cool
a
shit with that.
7x57, whatever. Whoever Ron was talking about, some guy that shot 500 elephant with 757 or something.
Yeah.
So now you got to get one of those.
No.
Okay, I'll get one.
All right, the 4570 lever gun seems like
Pretty
the thing,
sweet.
though. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming up, man.
My pleasure.
Let's go build a
Thanks
gun.
for having me. Yeah, we'll go do it. Oh, on that, Jay promised I could do a boombox.
Yeah, Jay said it. Fuck, Jay owns this place.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's right.
Jay's place.
That's right. I said, yeah, come on up.
If I would love for you to build a boombox. I'll send you one when they're in production. We're close. That's a little game changer. I've already, I exported 2 to Africa. They're already over there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
And we'll change things in them now. But, it was like midway and I was exporting all this stuff. So I sent 2 over there. And so when they're in production here in the next month or so, sure, Mitch will send me with parts to swap out and all. But, we wanted to have them over there for the next time everyone's over. So we do a cull or whatever it is. Because, we can't take semi-autos over there, but you can export them permanently. So I sent 2 boom boxes. And so we'll have caliber conversions too, but they're both set up in 8.6 right now. But we'll have 308 and maybe 6 mil, 6.5. We can swap it too because it's just a barrel and handguard. I sent like half a dozen honey badgers. So if we all go on a cull, we'll all have honey badgers, a bunch of different fixes, and then just a bunch of other guns. Like I was talking about, JV gave me a Winchester Model 70 and 375, a brand new one. He gave me a Wesley Richards side-by-side to take over there. So we'll have us like a traditional side-by-side gun, shoot some birds with or whatever. I know.
I need better
It was
friends.
probably so, JV's cool. He's generous. And so he did that. And it's, just to contribute to all the stuff we have over there. So, we go over there and every time it's like more of a pirate's life every time we go. Cause we've all hunted a lot over there. So it's like, what can we do? And trying to come up with other things to do over there. So it's like, you got to have all the guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's pirate's life, man.
That's right.
Fun.
Yeah, I was PH and JV on some stuff we were over there last time because I am like the diker PH now. Ooh. Like I own diker hunting in South Africa.
I heard someone on the street calling you diker or something.
Yeah.
That's interesting that they know here too.
Yeah. Oh, I found him a big broken horn diker and man, I wanted to shoot it. But being a professional, I'm PH and so I'm like, I can't shoot it. But I swear to God, I was like, JV, okay. I just saw him. It's over there. We're going to walk down here. There's a one-horn diker. We're going to be 30 yards from him. He's under that acacia. He's under the bush. He's got one horn. If you miss him, I swear to God, I'm going to punch you right in the dick. You do not miss. It's a one-horn diker. He made a sweet shot. We got him. But I'm growing up. I'm maturing. It was hard for me to let somebody else shoot something with one horn.
You did it, though.
I did. Got him a diker. Last day, last light. I'm like, I got you. Let's go. Bam. Knocked it out. He'd never shot one before. All right. Well, Jay, proud of you on that buffalo, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Bret,
awesome.
Don't let us down on this doll sheep.
I'm going to do my best.
I know you will. We won't tell your wife how sketchy as shit.
I'll tell her after. I mean, there'll be a video
All
of
the
it.
snow pirates out there too.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, thanks, man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.